Alright, bet. What's up? So, essentially what we got going on is... Hold on. Huh. Let me see this. Properties. Okay, that's weird. So audio from the game isn't playing, but it's okay because it don't really matter. Yeah, no, I guess that's for the better. So essentially what's going on is I'm just gonna be like grinding, like slowly, like without much thought. Got the Fatalia yesterday. It was pretty neat. Not really anything of any significance, like performance wise. Like you can see, like this acceleration is not great. Actually, matter of fact, let me equip it better. I don't even know like what's better. Like they all look kind of dookie. Let's try this. That looks terrible. I mean, that looks good. I like that. Customize. I mean, we could do body color. Hyper diamond. Hyper blue. Which of those looks better? Let's try diamond, and then we can like look in textures for something good. I don't think there is, but ooh, that's hard. That's hard. Second body color. Let's try radiant ice. The hell? Second texture. None. Oh, that looks no. Matter of fact, let's just go blue and yeah, let's just go like light blue and dark blue. So body color, let's go radiant ice, and then radiant polar blue for the second. Nah, that's better. Glow, radiant ice, horn, rim. What's the, not the electrostatic, oh yeah, this one, ice crystal. Rim color, we're gonna go radiant polar blue. Drift. Let's try magic purple. OG fuel. Yeah, that looks good. Tire sticker. I don't even know if I want one. Oh no, I already have the lightning one on. Tire style. Yeah, let's just leave that as is. Brakes. Window color. Radiant ice, window tint, 20. They used to have like 5% tint, I'm pretty sure. Let's do radiant polar blue, interior detail, and then do that one, radiant ice. Yeah, that's hard. Seat color, let's do radiant ice. Spoiler, let's do the OG thrusters. No, I like the meteor magnet. I got some variety. Yarg cap, that's dumb. Torero. Ooh, I like the nitro tank. I like that because it's like my car's blue and then that thing's blue, you know what I mean? That looks dumb on this kind of car. Extreme Aero, that doesn't look too bad. Let's do that. Spoiler color, Radiant Ice, highlight or headlights. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense than fucking highlights. Radiant Ice, Radiant Polar Blue. Let's do Hyper Diamond. Nope, no difference. Blue, a good power plant. We can do a run. Icy. Saves. Delete. Save. Yeah, that's hard. Let's hit power. I feel like I didn't give it enough credit. Like, it's not terrible, you know what I mean? But it's just like, it could be better. I kind of like it, actually. I feel like for long distance shit, like, it's not actually that bad. Let's hit this. Just kind of do that. Yeah. Wait, where's the 4? Oh. Just barely made it out of there, bro. Yeah, no, let's run it. Money on me. Money on. Ooh, 6,000. That's the first time I've gotten 6,000 since last summer, which is, I don't know. It might be my new grinding car. Yeah, let's hit the crown jewel. Actually, no, let's not hit the crown jewel. Yeah, I don't know. I'd say overall, this car looks all right. Let's turn up detail to the max. Graphics quality at the absolute highest. This is what it looks like. If we give it like a default look, looks like that. This is just with a bunch of different saves. But yeah. So yeah. I love how immediately my GPU load went down hella. I wonder what bitrate I'm streaming at. Or no, what frame rate? Okay, 60. Output. Alright. Can I switch scene collections? Okay, so we're back now. Got distracted. Sorry, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, African American Studies. So we have a few things to do for that class, and I have not been the most attentive student, and it's hard doing just online classes because I don't know, like when I go in real life, I'm like reminded of it, you know, like it's literally in front of me, it's in front of my face, teachers talking about it, but online that's not the case.
Kennedy,
so
the younger and less experienced.
Okay, so let's see this. Kamala will be second African American woman. Who was the first? Let's just look that up. Okay. Wow. That's fire. I didn't even know. Shirley Chisholm with deep involvement in our Brooklyn community. Okay, so this is fire. I didn't even know that this was the case. I mean, people talked about Obama so much, like he was the only, you know, African American guy to ever run and make it as president, that like it honestly never occurred to me that someone else might run and just not make it. No, that's fire. Sorry. If they don't give you a seat at the table, bring a folding chair. That's a hard ass quote. Yeah, that's actually good advice. What the fuck? You know what's crazy? They're doing like a Celebrate America type thing at the park, and you can see in OBS. Those like tiny little jumps right there are literally from like Celebrate America. They're super political, like past years too. Damn, I forgot to turn on like music and stuff. Oh my god. What am I doing today? Before you go? I'm not going. Okay. All right, let's edit the bit rate of all of these. Sound, speakers, Focusrite USB audio. Okay. Options. Let me see if I can change this in voice meter. Okay, so we have that 96 kilohertz. System settings. VB audio virtual cable control panel. Show all, dude. VB Alright, yeah, let's run this thing as administrator. So this is essentially what we got going on. Options. Internal sampling rate, 96,000 hertz. Is there anything that doesn't say 96,000 right here? Output. I'm not trying to mix anything, and fuck you. 16 inch. Okay. No, I gotta do my common eye. Can't see myself healing at the function where the bitch is at. Cable output. Why is everything 48,000 hertz? I never asked for anything to be in 48,000 hertz. Literally everything should be in 96. Why? Matter of fact, can I just do this in the control panel? Because the fucking animations are making it shitty. Yeah, these are all disabled. Advanced. 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 Yeah, I want to continue. Recording. Yeah, okay, that's correct. Six channel is absurd. Okay, so I can just scroll down twice on these. This is annoying, dude. Like, why? Let's check this shit. Run this shit as administrator. Okay. Was 3, that's what, like 6,000? I'm not setting the max and like rebooting and shit. Let's do background music while recording. What the hell? What is going on? There's no way my GPU load is at like 3%, bro. That's the thing, bro. I don't trust Task Manager anymore. I like genuinely. Whoa. Okay, so this is a struggle. Yeah. Okay, well that's a little better. I'm not sure why the fuck this isn't working. Like genuinely, like I don't understand.
Jackson, stop it. You're so annoying.
Okay, well that works now. Yeah, let's start this shit from the beginning. Yeah, this is rough, dude. Okay. Back to the actual Answer the following questions. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What are dog whistle policies? What does that mean? Why is my camera being odd? It's been like this the whole time. Configure video. Yeah, turn that shit down. If I say I want my shit in 60 FPS, I'm getting it in 60 FPS. I don't want this laggy shit. I want a high shutter speed. Dog whistle politics, Wikipedia. Oh, so it's like sleeper agent activation, pretty much. That's like the brain rot version of it. It's just like content that like looks normal to some people, but like to others it means something like far more significant. I'm not sure what dog whistle politics.
Their microphones will only be turned on when it's their turn to speak. No pre-written notes allowed. There is no audience here tonight in this hall at the National Constitution Center. This is an intimate setting for two candidates who have never met.
President Trump won the coin toss. He chose to deliver the final closing statement of the evening. Vice President Harris selected the podium to the right.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
Let's do it.
Kamala Harris. Let's have a good debate.
They always have some type of bitmoji.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you. It's an honor to have you both here tonight.
Good evening. We are looking forward to a spirited and thoughtful debate.
So let's get started. I want to begin tonight with the issue that voters repeatedly say is their number one issue, and that is the economy and the cost of living in this country. Vice President Harris, you and President Trump were elected 4 years ago, and your opponent on the stage here tonight often asks his supporters, are you better off than you were 4 years ago? When it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on the stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America. I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people, and that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy. Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people. We know that young families need support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families.
Is that an example of dog whistle politics? Like that's regular language. Like that's, bro, this is genuinely so dumb. Hold on. What the all right, bet, let's do it. It's crazy that the U.S. government, by the way, made Claude take down Fable 5. Like, they're letting us access everything else. Okay, let's see this. So, yeah, overall, okay, so my problem is Claude, right? And I'm not using this to cheat on the assignment, right? I'm looking up an actual example because I don't know particularly well what dog whistle politics are. I don't know if y'all can see this. They're eating the dogs. Yeah, Trump really said that. That doesn't seem like regular language. What? How? Oh, that appears neutral on the surface. What we saw was a dog whistle through a bullhorn. Donald Trump is not pretending to be anything other than what he is, someone who will not condemn white supremacists. What makes this a dog whistle? Yeah, exactly. It's hella over. The dog eating stereotype, belittle Asian immigrants. I feel that every example you listed was far from normal language. And because I need to identify dog whistling for an assignment, I am confused. Is it just a call to action? Is it just essentially the brainchild of sleeper agent activation, doublespeak, and clickbait? Those, because I mean, based on what I'm seeing so far, those three sum it up very well, like without question. Yeah, that's a really sharp observation, and your confusion is completely valid. The 2024 debate was actually an unusual case that makes teaching dog whistles harder, not easier. Let me clarify the concept properly. Oh. Okay. Okay, so it is just doublespeak. And then Trump's version of dog whistling is just like clickbait sleeper agent activation doublespeak. Okay, that makes so much more sense. And the issue is with all of these words is they have like such bad connotations. Okay, kind of a rabbit hole here, but a lot of Republicans and a lot of conservatives tend to, and this is really just old people in general, I've noticed, you know, my mom will be like, oh yeah, I have a friend and something worked for them. And it's like, okay,
I'm glad it worked for one person to, I don't know, like help with ADHD or something. Let me see a peer-reviewed study, because that wouldn't work on any of my friends that are actually, you know, somewhat like me. And it's this tendency towards like wanting, I guess you could call it confirmation bias. But seeking stuff in an echo chamber. Yeah, seeking information from like a very select amount of people that actually agrees with like what you're saying. You know what I mean? That's very prevalent in conservatives. Like, they don't really run on data. So when you say things like thugs, when you say things like inner city, welfare queen, illegal aliens, or states' rights, things that have these very heavy connotations, even though they don't have very heavy denotations, things that have very heavy connotations will still end up ruining an entire like group of people's image. For example, the entire LGBTQIA plus community. Yeah. And then, like, obviously, you know, majority of minorities, if not all, ethnic minorities. Fuck, dude. Oh, my pen's right here. Okay. I got that big double S. We're leaving at 4:45 to have dinner for Rick's birthday. Retarded. I don't wait till my band's falling over. Every time that you leave your spot, your girlfriend got me like coming over. I let her wait till she cheeky, you let me call it a kissing over. She ain't got me saying, I got that big double S. I can't play that right now. But yeah, so so yeah, it's just double speak. I'm not sure why it's called nativist rhetoric either. Not natives. And then, yeah, another thing with this whole confirmation bias thing, if Republicans don't like an ethnic minority and someone uses like the word thug, and someone uses like the word thug, damn, I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, they're immediately going to think of the ethnic minority that they don't like. You know what I mean? So it's like when you already have that association built up, doublespeak, or I guess dog whistling tends to prey on it. I'm going to say I didn't see any dog whistling. I saw overt nativism. Yeah, let's just type that shit out. I saw no dog whistling and far more overt nativism. That's honestly the best way I can put that. And far more overt nativism. Yeah, I saw no dog whistling and far more overt nativism. Honestly, I think I can just list examples. I can just list examples off the top of my head. So first, obviously, they're eating the dogs. With I saw no dog whistling and far more overt nativism from candidate Donald J. Trump. Candidate. Is that how you spell that? Oh, yeah, got him. And far more overt nativism from Republican candidate Donald J. Trump. Yeah. Did I see the use of race-based appeals? I did see the use of race-based appeals when Trump and nothing of any and nothing negative of any significance from Kamala from Harris. Harris. I did see the use of race-based appeals from Trump primarily when when people of Haitian descent. Oh, I forgot the extra I. When people of Haitian descent were brought up and Trump made the wildly false claim that they are, quote, eating the cats and dogs
Bolden to move even further into other countries. You have said you would solve this war in 2020. 24 hours. You said so just before the break tonight. How exactly would you do that? And I want to ask you a very simple question tonight. Do you want Ukraine to win this war?
I want the war to stop. I want to save lives that are being used.
Yeah, okay. So he's avoiding the whole Ukraine question, and, you know, because he's riding Putin. He said some weird stuff about Putin, too. Actually, ignore that claim. I don't have evidence for it right now, and I have to do homework. So ignore that I said that. I will likely find it later, but pretend those words didn't come out
People
of my
being
mouth.
killed by the millions. It's the millions.
Yeah.
It's so much worse than the numbers that you're getting with your fake numbers. Look, we're in for 200.
The numbers you are getting with your fake numbers. Hold on, no. The numbers you're getting with your fake I can't do. Well, I can't do the impression good enough. I've kind of a built-in vocal fry, and you know, it's a lot closer to Lil Uzi than Trump. So, yeah. Where's they're eating the dog's part?
I'm talking now, if you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out. Now, she gave up at least 12 and probably 14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute, I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar? She went out in Minnesota and wanted to let criminals that killed people, that burned down Minneapolis, she went out and raised money to get them out of jail. She did things that nobody would ever think of. Now she wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison. This is a radical...
What? Yo, this is like actual like entertainment. What?
Liberal that would do this. She wants to confiscate your guns.
There's no way people believe him.
She will never allow fracking in Pennsylvania. If she won the election, fracking in Pennsylvania will end on day one. Just to finish one thing so important in my opinion. So I got the oil business going like nobody has ever done before. When they took over, they got rid of it, started getting rid of it, and the prices were going up the roof. They immediately let these guys go to where they were. I would have been...
If I'm going to be honest, I feel like fracking should end and we should move towards nuclear energy. The reason we don't have nuclear energy right now is... never mind. Nuclear energy is terrible. Not taking that risk.
Nancy Pelosi was responsible. She didn't do her job.
The question was about you as president, not about former Speaker Pelosi, but I do want Vice President Harris to respond here.
I was at the Capitol on January 6th. I was the vice president-elect. I was also an acting senator. I was there. And on that day, the president of the United States incited a violent mob to attack our nation's capital, to desecrate our nation's capital. On that day, 140 law enforcement officers were injured, and some died. And understand, the former president has been indicted and impeached for exactly that reason. But this is not an isolated situation. Let's remember Charlottesville, where there was a mob of people carrying tiki torches, spewing anti-Semitic hate. And what did the president then at the time say? There were fine people on each side. Let's remember that when it came to the Proud Boys, a militia, the former president said, stand back and stand by. So for everyone watching who remembers what January 6th was, I say, we don't have to go back. Let's not go.
And Trump won the coin toss. He chose to deliver the final closing statement of the evening. Vice President Harris elected the podium to the right.
So let's now welcome the candidates to the stage. Vice President Kamala Harris and President Donald Trump.
Kamala Harris.
On the future, and the other that is focused on
Where's
the past.
they're eating the
then
dog
it's-
section?
Debate tonight. We're going to continue here. And I want to turn to the war in Ukraine. We're now 2.5 years into this conflict. Mr. President,
The United States, who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election.
from Central America. We know that illegal border crossings reached a record high.
Oh, here it
This
is.
past June, President Biden imposed tough new asylum restrictions. We know the numbers since then have dropped significantly. But my question to you tonight is, why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings. And let me say that the United States Congress, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country. That bill would have put more resources to allow us to prosecute transnational criminal organizations for trafficking in guns, drugs, and human beings. But you know what happened to that bill? Donald Trump got on the phone, called up some folks in Congress, and said, kill the bill. And you know why? Because he'd prefer to run on a problem instead of fixing a problem. And understand, this comes at a time where the people of our country actually need a leader who
This is a good-ass debate.
engages in solutions.
Where's they're eating the
Cats.
dogs?
They're eating.
Oh, there it is. Millions and millions of immigrants. Okay, so that's okay. The wildly false claim that they are eating the
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. A lot of towns don't want to talk. Not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, they're eating the dogs. The people that came in, they're
eating the dogs.
eating the cats. They're eating
Dogs. I'm just gonna do and ... cats. Okay, perfect. Okay, so they're eating the dogs and cats. What else did he say? He called her a Marxist and a radical left. Where was that?
Before the break tonight, how exactly would you do?
Don't even try and get it. That is a war that's dying.
A very difficult time processing that. But we cannot afford to have a president of the United States who attempts, as he did in the past, to upend the will of the voters in a free and fair election. And I'm going to tell you that
I'm not sure how she
I
got
have
more
traveled
votes.
the world as vice
Or
president of
not
the United
sure how
States.
she didn't.
They've left the tariffs on. When I had it, I had tariffs, and yet I had no inflation. Look, we've had a terrible economy because inflation has, which is really known as a country buster. It breaks up countries. We have inflation like very few people have ever seen before, probably the worst in our nation's history. We were at 21%, but that's being generous because many things are 50, 60, 70, and 80% higher than they were just a few years ago. This has been a disaster for people, for the middle class, but for every class. On top of that, we have millions of people pouring into our country from prisons and jails, from mental institutions and insane asylums, and they're coming in and they're taking jobs that are occupied right now by African Americans and Hispanics, and also unions. Unions are going to be affected very soon. And you see what's happening. You see what's happening with towns throughout the United States. You look at Springfield, Ohio. You look at Aurora in Colorado. They are taking over the towns. They're taking over buildings. They're going in violently. These are the people that she and Biden led into our country, and they're
Okay, so he's just saying shit. And cats. So, did you see any use of race-based appeals? If so, by which parties? That's question 2. Let's see. They have an analysis right here. The issue is this is a very long
destroying our country.
debate.
They're dangerous. They're at the highest level of criminality, and we have to get them out. We have to get them out fast. I created one of the greatest economies in the history of our country. I'll do it again and even better.
We are going to get to immigration and border security during this debate, but I would like to let Vice President Harris respond on the economy here.
Well, I would love to. Let's talk about what Donald Trump left us. Donald Trump left us the worst unemployment since the Great Depression. Donald Trump left us the worst public health epidemic in a century. Donald Trump left us the worst attack on our democracy since the Civil War. And what we have done is clean up Donald Trump's mess. What we have done and what I intend to do is build on what we know are the aspirations and the hopes of the American people. But I'm going to tell you all in this debate tonight, you're going to hear from the same old tired playbook, a bunch of lies, grievances, and name-calling. What you're going to hear tonight is a detailed and dangerous plan called Project 2025 that the former president intends on implementing if he were elected again. I believe very strongly that the American people want a president who understands the importance of bringing us together, knowing we have so much more in common than what separates us. And I pledge to you to be a president for all Americans.
President Trump will give you a minute here to respond.
Number one, I have nothing to do, as you know, and as she knows better than anyone, I have nothing to do with Project 2025. That's out there. I haven't read it. I don't want to read it purposely. I'm not going to read it. This was a group of people that got together.
So
they came up with
lying.
some ideas, I guess some good, some bad, but it makes no difference. I have nothing to do. Everybody knows I'm an open book. Everybody knows what I'm going to do. Cut taxes very substantially and create a great economy like I did before. We had the greatest economy. We got hit with the pandemic, and the pandemic was not since 1917, where 100 million people died, has there been anything like it. We did a phenomenal job with the pandemic. We handed them over a country where the economy and where the stock market was higher than it was before the pandemic came in. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We made ventilators for the entire world. We got gowns, we got masks, we did things that nobody thought possible. And people give me credit for rebuilding the military. They give me credit for a lot of things, but not enough credit for the great job we did with the pandemic. But the only jobs they got were bounce back jobs. These were jobs, bounce back, and it bounced back and it went to their benefit. But I was the one that created them. They know it, and so does everybody else.
Vice President Harris, I'll let you respond.
So Donald Trump has no plan for you. And when you look at his economic plan, it's all about tax breaks for the richest people. I am offering what I describe as an opportunity economy, and the best economists in our country, if not the world, have reviewed our relative plans for the future of America. What Goldman Sachs has said is that Donald Trump's plan would make the economy worse. Mine would strengthen the economy. What the Wharton School has said is Donald Trump's plan would actually explode the deficit. 16 Nobel laureates have described his economic plan as something that would increase inflation and by the middle of next year would invite a recession. You just have to look at where we are and where we stand on the issue.
Oh, and you know what's crazy? It did. 2025 recession. 2025 stock market crash. Let's see it. Okay. April. Now, damn it, calendar. Calendar. Images. April is about right there. It literally crashed in April. Plummeted. Actually fell. Like, that's unheard of. You know, normally like 1.5 is considered recession levels because the economy is still growing. With him, it was in the negatives. And it was right on time too. In the second quarter of the year. So yeah, by the middle of next year. But like the fact that she was able to call that is absurd.
That Donald Trump actually has no plan for you because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
It's just a soundbite. They gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off,
buzzword, good, solid.
She doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, and it's like 4 sentences, like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just, oh, we'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
I'm so confused.
Mr. President, I do want to drill down on something you both brought up. The Vice President brought up your tariffs. You responded, and let's drill down on this because your plan is what she calls is essentially a national sales tax. Your proposal calls for tariffs, as you pointed out here, on foreign imports across the board. You recently said that you might double your plan, imposing tariffs up to 20% on goods coming into this country. As you know, many economists say that with tariffs at that level, costs are then passed on to the consumer. Vice President Harris has argued it'll mean higher prices on gas, food, clothing, medication, arguing it costs the typical family nearly $4,000 a year. Do you believe Americans can afford higher prices because of tariffs?
They're not going to have higher prices. What's going to have and who's going to have higher prices is China and all of the countries that have been ripping us off for years. That's
not how a fucking tariff works. Actual dumbass. Okay. Probably my favorite question to ask Trump lovers is, do you understand how tariffs work? Okay, so let's say this is consumers. And then this is, I don't know, we can call this American businesses. American businesses, like businesses that do everything in America. And then we're going to call this one importing businesses, because, you know, IB is like, yeah. Anyway, so, and then these guys import from other places like China. So let's do CCP. We're just going to reference the entire country by its political party. So essentially what a tariff does is the government says, yo, we need people to buy American stuff so our money isn't going out. So what they do is they add a tariff, like if we did like plus 100%, aka times 2. So that goes in, and then and this is costs, like where costs are coming from. So it's about twice as much for the importing business. So they have to charge more for the product in order to make money on it. So then we have this plus this plus this. We have 3 upcharges. Meanwhile, if we have just an American business, we'll just call this American manufacturer. I'm going to retitle this to Chinese manufacturer, and then American manufacturer. If we go through money, product goes in, right? There's a cost, and normally it's more expensive. And then the money, and then the cost of the product itself, plus the actual, like, you know, marketing, everything that the business uses, that's that. And so Chinese manufacturing is very, very, very cheap in comparison to in comparison to American manufacturing, because we have much stricter labor laws and enforcement of said laws. So let's say if this was $50. Actually, no, let's make this 100, just a little easier. $100 worth of a product. And then the business needs to charge $150, and then the extra $50 goes to, you know, lining the CEO's pockets, and then yeah, you know, paying people. So that's $100. And then we have $50, and then $100. So in total, it's about $150. Meanwhile, if we had a Chinese manufacturer that can ship in $75 worth of product, The US government takes that, plus 100% is 75, plus 75. So the business is like, oh shit, this is $150. We need to sell it for more than that in order to actually make any money. So they charge 50% on that, and 50, that's 225 total. I'm just gonna make these the same. Actually, nah. $75, $75, and then this is also $75. And people think that the government is charging China to import stuff. No, they're charging us to import stuff because they want us to buy stuff in our own country. And I love when I explain this stuff, or no, I actually hate it. It makes me really upset. When I explain this stuff and people are like, no, that's wrong. And then I tell them to look it up. It's not wrong. And you just kind of see like a look of like confusion on their face. Matter of fact, when I see my grandma next, if for some reason politics is brought up, like I want to ask her, like, oh, can you explain to me how a tariff works? Because she can't, you know. People just listen and they don't think, and it sucks. Fuck, bro, I forgot I need to work on this assignment. My perspective of each candidate's responses to check something. Let me check something. Okay, so about 15 minutes. What else did Trump do? I'm just trying to think off the top of my head because I'm not watching this entire hour and 50-minute debate. Trump, he said Kamala looked Indian. Something like that. Like, there's no way she's really black or something. I don't know where that is. She's both. I'm pretty sure she's mixed. Anyway, cats. Trump also, I think he likes it, like, is she Indian or is she black? Trump also stated, began questioning her Kamala well documented racial identity identity. Asking questions like, is she Indian or is she black? In an attempt to delegitimize? Do we go with that? Delegitimize? Is that how you spell that? Legitimize. Bro, how do you spell this, bro? Whatever, dude. In an attempt to delegitimize her experiences as an ethnic minority and at a journalist's money on me, money on me at a black journalist convention as well. In addition, the constant reference to immigrants. Matter of fact, I'll move this over here just for like simplicity. The constant reference to immigrants. I'm pretty sure, yeah, mental hospitals as asylum members, criminals, criminals, terrorists, yeah, ex-asylum members, criminals, terrorists, criminals, and terrorists. I'm going to say the constant references and statements that they were flooding the country activated fueled That's the only thing I can think to call that, because it's literally like a panic because of like racial stuff. No? Bro. I want to learn about Black Wall Street, bro. Like, we know Trump's a racist. Like, come on. Already present. Fueled, already present. I'm going to say racial tensions. I'm moving this back over here. I can't handle it. actually, like I already feel like already existing racial tensions. What groups did these dog whistle politics target? Ethnic minorities. These examples of dog whistle politics targeted ethnic minorities primarily. Hispanic individuals. Primarily, oh. What if instead of his panic, it was her panic? Ooh. Is that tough?
No, not tough. Okay.
Analyze the body language of each presidential candidate. Did either seem uncomfortable or upset? Trump seems more like he's scrambling. That could be confirmation bias, like looking for something that I already believe is the case, but
Because under Roe v. Wade, you could do abortions in the 7th month.
I don't know what to call that. It's like when he's like just like steamrolling someone else because when he's like steamrolling someone else because he knows he's wrong. Like what do I call that? What could I possibly, like, you know what I mean? Like what could I call that? Close the fuck. Ooh, I don't like that. Yeah, I was trying to add a compressor onto my voice in FL Studio, but the latency is so bad I can't do it. Yeah, he's not aged nicely. I mean, like here, he was still orange. He was still a lying racist. But like he
Now
looks.
you're just starting to think of solutions.
Well,
I will bring,
actually,
excuse me, I will bring back jobs. You can't bring back jobs.
Well, actually, I have thought about this quite a bit.
Yeah, for 30
and
years.
I have, well, not quite that long. I think my husband did a pretty good job in the 1990s. I think a lot about what worked and how we can make it work again.
Well, he approved
Million
NAFTA.
new jobs,
He approved
a balanced
NAFTA,
budget,
which is the single worst trade deal ever approved in this
incomes
country.
went up for everybody. Manufacturing jobs went up also in the 1990s, if we're actually going to look at the facts. When I was in the Senate, I had a number of trade deals that came before me, and
Like you can see, like he's like actually expressive. He looks like a human being that's having a debate. You know what I mean? But this is just sad.
The 8th month, the 9th month, and probably after birth. Just look at the former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want.
Trump seems Trump's body language seems very, what's it called, like on high alert, anxious, no, yeah, just alert, seemed very alert, defensive, and closed off, because he does. Which makes complete sense given his
given that his mannerisms focus far more on being the only person talking, ensuring that people believe he is the only honest person in the room, and ensuring that people believe he is the only honest person in the room. Very alert, defensive, closed off, and almost frantic, which
Hi.